Yo, what up, guys? Our typical daily live. What's happening? What's happening? Wait for some of y'all to jump on. Yo, what's going on, everybody? How are you all doing? Beautiful day out here. Another awesome opportunity for us all to just connect on here on live. I see Ryan is requesting to go live. I'm just going to let everybody kind of start to jump on here before I bring them on. Just curious, how's everybody doing? It's a windy day here in LA. The notebook's going pretty crazy. And just checking in. I want to see how everybody's doing. Definitely comment real quick where everybody coming in from. And just start preparing, guys. I'm going to be bringing on one of my greatest just brothers and mentors that I've worked with for over the past 9 years, close to a decade. He is one of the greatest leaders that I know. He's one of my closest friends. He's my brother. Like I said, he's been a mentor of mine. He was an advisor for me in building my last company after the recession. And he played a huge role in advising me through the acquisition of my last company that, really I built right after the last recession. So, and he is just remarkable, everything that he's done. I mean, the fact that a lot of people know him for his business acumen and just all of the accolades as a business leader. He's won Ernst & Young, 2 New York Times bestsellers. His first book, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, was a book that changed my life. A lot of you know how much I champion Ryan. I've been championing him for literally the last decade. In fact, the way that I actually got Ryan to be my mentor was when I started Elite Daily. I wrote an article, the 10 greatest mentors of all time. I put Jesus on there, Gandhi on there, P Diddy on there, and I put Ryan Blair on there, and that got his attention. And I was able to get an interview with him for his book and how it impacted my life. And the story began. He became such a powerful mentor, brother in my life, helped me with that exit, and now he's a business partner of mine. We continue to just support each other in our mission in life. To just help heal the world, to help empower leaders in the world. So I'm just super, super grateful to bring him on. Prepare some of your questions. I got some questions here, and I'm going to bring him on here. Let's bring him on. Let's see. Here he is.
Hey, Gerard, how are you?
Yo, there he is. What's good, bro?
Good to see you, my friend.
You as well. I was just on a team Zoom call, doing business as usual, just talking and learning more about what's going on with Altar Call. Seems like something really exciting is percolating, headed into next week. And I'm excited to talk about all things that you're working on with Altar Call. It's been such an awesome journey, man. Just like knowing you over the last 9 years, working with you, learning from you, growing with you, and now just really impacting with you at the highest level. But for a lot of people that are like here right now, man, I just wanted to kind of give them some real practical advice and just hope and give them some insights, because you're like a big brother to our generation. I like to think of myself as kind of like a big bro to millennials, but you're like the godfather to the millennials, man. And I've just been blessed to have you in my life. And I just, again, so thank you first and foremost. Thank you for taking some time, man, to jump on the live with everybody.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
go for
it's
it.
a privilege. It is a privilege. So I love you, man, and all your kind words. And, sometimes you meet a person and you just know that, like, we're going to do something together. And we had no idea how that would manifest itself. We just kept getting in the room. We invested in some things. We'd share what we were up to individually. And now to be able to have this space to actually do work together, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's so special. Someone just actually asked what was the book that impacted my life. Ryan, real quick, I'm just curious, bro. I don't think I've ever even asked you this, but what was the inspiration for Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain?
The title itself,
Yeah, just the title,
yeah.
but not just the title, like the actual, like even the concept.
Well, I was in juvenile hall. So for those of you who don't know my story, I was a gang member in Los Angeles. I was in and out of trouble. And, I dropped out of high school. I was heading to prison for sure. And I wrote to a judge and he told me that I should be writing in college, not in prison. And that was the first time a man ever of authority ever saw me as anything better than a street kid. And so I decided I was going to write, and I've been writing ever since. And, over time I would share my writing with people and people would be impacted by it. But the real inspiration for Nothing to Lose, it was, I knew I had a story to tell. I knew spiritually that the things I went through, the adversities I'd gone through, I knew that people needed to hear those adversities and hear how I'd overcome them so that they too could overcome their own individual adversities. Nothing to Lose is really dedicated to my mentor, my first mentor, who is my late stepfather who passed away. And when I published the book, it was really in tribute to him. And that's part of the reason why it became such a worldwide success.
And I love it, bro. I recommend it. Definitely one of my top 10 books of all time. And I can't wait for your new book that you're working on now, Altar Call, bro. And again, I don't know if I ever really gave you an offer of gratitude, man, and just told you how much it means to the world to me that I was actually in the latest book, Rock Bottom to Rock Star, yeah. Bro. So that was so cool. Thank you so much, man. And I can't wait for the next book, Altar Call. The movement is just really shaping up. I want to talk about Altar Call, but before we get into all that, I just want to know, bro, because you are someone I really genuinely respect, and for all the people that are out there that are feeling the crisis, I don't know about you, but this week, I felt it even more. Obviously I have hope. I'm optimistic. We have all the tools to know that this is for us, not to us. But, you can't help but really feel it, that it's obviously healing the world. But, I mean, a lot of my clients, a lot of leaders follow me. A lot of entrepreneurs follow me. A lot of CEOs follow me. And they're going through it, right? A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of CEOs and founders are having to, figure out how to conserve cash right now. And, and a lot of them are letting go of employees or downsizing, just, going through it, and emotionally as well. Just personally, I've had a lot of business partners and clients that are, just crying. They're anxious, they're depressed. So just what are you feeling? What are you seeing? And then what are some tips that you would recommend for them right now during this economic crisis as well as the health crisis?
Yeah. Well, one, I've weathered the Y2K bug, the .com bust and bubble, the 2008 financial recession. So as an entrepreneur, I've been, involved in all of these different bubbles and different crises that we faced. So I have a lot of experience in it. My success at ViSalus really came as a result of the 2008 recession. The work that we did, optimizing ViSalus for a new consumer, one that was going to be saving oriented, one that was going to look for, the opportunity to participate in a community of like-minded individuals. And so I really retrofitted my company, ViSalus. It was crashing. I had to lay off people. And the recession hit in 2009. I changed the entire business model. By 2012, I had a $600 million business on my hands. So I know that this recession that we're going through gives you a strategic window and an advantage, especially if you're a small company and you don't have a lot of infrastructure. So you can pivot your company right away. My heart goes out to the people who have to lay off hundreds, if not thousands of people. I've been in that predicament, and that's not fun. You're going to spend those individuals, those entrepreneurs are going to spend their every waking minute having to make very difficult decisions that are retracting. And that's going to take months for them to work through those things. But that's your strategic advantage if you're a small entrepreneur and you don't have a large team, is that you can take action on where the customer is going to be in the next 6, 12, 24 months. And you can actually bring out a new offer. So I look at this as opportunity. I mean, I just came out of a meditation before this, and I was like, I'm made for this particular time. And so I know no matter what, this is where I thrive. When people are fat and lazy and making money easily, I don't do well in those environments. I do well in the environment where you actually have to work hard, you have to use ingenuity, and your product has to stand out above the rest. So this is going to test the entrepreneurial strengths of every entrepreneur, myself included. But you got to just be prepared and ready for the test, and know that greatness comes from these types of events. So I'm signing up for that. I'm not going to sign up. There's going to be a lot of people going out of business, a lot of people failing, and then there's going to be a few people that succeed. And
Yeah.
I'm signing up for that list. I'm signing up for the list of people that take action in these times. And a year and 2 years and 3 years from now, they tell the story of companies that were born in these times. And
Hell yeah.
regardless of how old your company is, it can be born in this time. So Visal started in 2005, but it was born in 2009 during that recession. And by 2012, we're doing 100 million a year in profit.
Woo!
Yeah.
$100 million a year in profit, man, right out the recession, 4 years after recession. Guys, definitely show some love on the live stream. Send some questions. I mean, this is a unbelievable opportunity for you to get your question heard by one of the greatest leaders of our generation. Ryan, how do you build resilience now, right? Like, obviously, there's so much opportunity coming out of this. I mean, it's interesting because so many unbelievable companies came out of the recession. I mean, Uber and all on Venmo and all these unbelievable tech startups were built right after the recession. Elite Daily was built out of the recession. Visal was built right after the recession. But you gotta have resilience during it right now. How do you think that you can cultivate a resilience mentality, and really be able to persevere right now, and then learn how to adapt for that new economy, for that new customer?
Yeah. Well, the best way to build resilience is restriction. So when you restrict your negative thinking, you build resilience. And that resilience turns into positive thinking, right? Mm-hmm. When you restrict, you're wasting time. When you restrict, substances that are toxic, relationships that are toxic, when you restrict those things, you build resilience. So resilience comes from restriction. Discipline is a result of resilience and restriction combined. That's when you get discipline. I'll tell you that Hewlett Packard came out of recession. Disney came out of the Great Depression. So we know these great companies, Uber, Airbnb, Venmo, we know PayPal, we know great companies come out of these times. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, how do we position ourselves? And so you got to do the work right now. And although it seems harder, it's really not, because while people are wasting their time, while people are giving up, while people are, laying off and going through, negative thinking and negative cycles, if you're positively oriented and you resist negative thinking, you're going to put yourself in a position to come up with the creative things that other people aren't. Creativity is what's going to really separate us, right? So, you have to invent new business models, new offers, new ways to approach customers. And the faster that you do that, the more success that you're going to have, because a lot of people are just going to try old ways that aren't going to work, and they're going to suffer for trying old ways. This culture has shifted. It shifted right out from underneath us. So now the key is for us to go figure out where's the culture going and then meet them there.
Hell yeah. I love it. I mean, one of the, it's interesting, going into the last recession and even coming out of it, I remember where I was just as a human being and just as a young entrepreneur. I had that resilience mentality. I was truly just all about the hustle. I was all about the grind. I had something to prove to the world. And, Ron, I went through like a really rough time. You've heard me talk about it a little bit, but I had a marketing agency at that time where I was helping publicly traded companies. I had lost millions of dollars. And because I had that hustle, that resilience, I was able to kind of get through it and tap into, what am I great at? What do I love? What am I passionate about? What do I really want to create that I wish existed in the world that I was looking for that I couldn't find? And that was that was the beginning of this this whole idea of creating a publication that would give a voice to a generation. But I was nowhere near the level of consciousness that I'm at now compared to then. So I think, resilience is so important. Having the discipline like you're talking about is so important. Being able to think outside the box and be creative right now is like imperative for coming out of this thing and thriving. But there's a whole new level, and I've seen this even with you, of just rising your consciousness during a time like this. And I didn't even know what that word meant back
me neither.
8, 10, 12, any of that stuff. I didn't do the things or have the tools that I really have now. And I know that you're really activating people right now to start thinking about this. So I wanted you to just talk a little bit about it. I know you started a daily meditation for people, but what are some of the things that you can do right now? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're at home, whether you're looking for that next big idea, you're looking to just really take your person, your who you are on the inside, but then also you as a leader to the next level. Like, what are some of the things that you can do to truly start to raise your vibration, raise your consciousness?
Yeah. I love it. Well, one, I didn't know what consciousness was either. And people would say that, and I'd be like, what are they talking about? Right. Like I had no idea. So I like to break things down, as you know, and I like to break down simple words like consciousness or execution. Consciousness is just an awareness, right? So if you're aware that you used to think a certain way, and then you choose to change the way you think about something. For example, if you used to react, you read the news, you get all nervous, you get fearful, and then you choose to change the way you react and actually respond and say, okay, times are tough, I got to take action, right? Then you're changing your consciousness and you're elevating your consciousness. So consciousness is just an awareness of the way you think, because your thoughts are the most powerful thing that you have. And more you change the way you think, the more you vibrate at a higher frequency, and you're able to actually activate people, and you're able to attract things and manifest things. So consciousness is just being aware. And then the more that you're aware, the more that you're able to change. And that's really what our journey is. Our journey is we have things that we need to change. I do, you do, and every day we have an opportunity to test our awareness, our consciousness. And every time we see, hey, I used to react this way, someone cuts me off, I no longer get upset at that. I just say, they probably have to be somewhere faster than me. Who cares, right? I've changed when I do that. And when you change, you're elevating. And when you're elevating your consciousness. You're elevating the people that are going to be attracted to you. You're elevating the people that are going to want to work with you on your projects. So the key is just to change your awareness, and that elevates your consciousness. And you have to do it every single day. The tools that I utilize to change my awareness is, one, I do breath work every single day. Two, I have a hobby that I love. I love singing. And so I practice my hobbies. So all too often as kids, we put down the things that we loved because somebody embarrassed us. Somebody told us, you can't sing. And so then we crumbled inside and we never sang again. So I love to do my hobbies. I do about an hour a day, hour and a half a day of practicing, because it allows me to connect to something that I loved as a youth, and I could see progress in it. And as I make that progress, I feel good about that. I also work out every single day. I get a workout in, whether it be a hike or just moving weights around to make sure that, I'm getting some physical activity in. Because I'll tell you, when I don't, that's when I allow negative thinking or toxic behaviors. You know what I mean? Like the world is going to hit you with negativity. And you have to do all kinds of things to make sure that you're strong and that you're able to resist, diving into that negativity. So breath work, meditation, working out, eating right, surrounding yourself with great people, really valuing connection. And for me, number one is, I pray every single day, a number of times a day, I pray. Yeah. And I lead a group right now, as you mentioned, in prayer every morning. This morning we had about 60 of us. It was awesome. And we meditate and pray and do breath work together for about 20 minutes each day. And so, but I got to tell you, I know you're a very spiritual person too, Gerard. This is part of the reason why we've connected. Like, now's the time that you should really create that spiritual insulation, right? You have time, you're in your home, right? You're not isolated. You should be insulating yourself spiritually so that you can just break out of this quarantine a new person with new energy, with new perspective, new awareness. And people are going to be like, wow, I want to do business with you. That's what you guys should all be working toward right now. I'm doing that work. Like, yes, I've gotten to a certain level, but it never ends. Like, every day you get tested, and then you realize, wow, like I had some negative thinking there. Or I didn't like the way I thought, or I didn't like the way I reacted. And then eventually, after you become aware of that, and then you change it, eventually those changes set in, and then you become unconsciously competent, and you're no longer having to worry about negativity hitting you as hard as it used to.
Ryan, I got a couple questions coming in here. I got one from Lynn. She says, how do you avoid burnout, knowing when to rest and when to grind?
Yeah. So I used to run these 90-day cycles because we used to have huge events, and we'd have, like, my biggest event had 18,000 people at it. And so I would run hard for 90 days and just collapse and and get sick and so forth. Now I do my meditation, my prayer work, and my breath work first thing in the morning, and then I do it midday. And in the morning, I get a charge, I have clarity, I have prioritization, I know what I need to do. And then midday, I do it again, and then it carries me through the night like we're doing right now. So I do it every single day. And energy management is the new time management.
Hell yeah.
Energy management is the way you eat. Energy management is the content you consume. I mean, I have to stop myself from reading the news right now because like there's nothing good there, right? Nobody's talking about the people that are recovering. Nobody's talking about how people aren't getting infected or how people are helping. They're only talking about death and pain and agony and all that stuff. And like, you know, it's okay to know what's going on, but we don't want that to overwhelm us, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we got to just do the best we can and do the work we can do. We can't control what's going to happen all around us. We can control what happens within us.
Wow. Okay. I love that, bro. Energy management's the new time management. It's so true, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I always say, guys, is like, you know, how can you start thinking like an investor in every way? You know, like a lot of times I used to think growing up that an investor was just these big, like Warren Buffett's, you know, and I love him. I'm actually reading his book, The Snowball, right now. But every single one of you that is on this live right now, you are an investor. You're an investor of your time. You're an investor of your attention. You're an investor of your energy. You're an investor of your money. So start thinking about that. Now, such an amazing opportunity for you to go within and start analyzing, right? Analyzing how are you spending your time? And the things that you're doing, is it increasing your energy or is it depleting your energy? Start auditing yourself, making a list, right? Thinking about where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your attention. What are you watching on a daily basis? I spend less than an hour a day on Instagram. And most of it goes right here on this live stream for you guys every single day. My team is the one who's automating a system and making sure that my content is continuing to go up so that I don't get caught in the loop of scrolling and getting caught in all of the memes and negativity, because I need to focus right now because I'm always thinking about how am I being an investor? How am I making sure that I'm really leveraging this time to be surrounding myself and learning from the likes of people like Ryan Blair and reading his new book or reading other amazing books, listening to podcasts, working on my vision, working on my values, working on, you know, that new business plan, working on all the things that I can do to optimize my business. So you need to start thinking like an investor and start being that investor in all areas of your life. So Ryan, thank you for that advice. I have someone here. This is a little bit interesting because I do want to address some of these individuals because not everybody is in this position where they have security and they have that business. And, you know, some people are getting laid off and some people don't necessarily know what to do next. And we have Cassandra here that asked, what are one or two things that you guys would recommend for an individual who has $0 at the moment and is really struggling, and what can that person do that right now is really at a low point in their life?
Yeah. Well, when I've been in positions where I've had $0 and I know exactly how that feels, and it's tough. So I've been there a couple of times, and I was raised in a pretty poor environment. So I know what it was like to live like that. The key is you got to invest in yourself. You got to get a book. You got to watch YouTube. Like right now, you got to be putting everything you can, because the reason why you don't have money in the bank is because you haven't learned the skills necessary to, you know, make money. Secondly, you want to make sure that you're following mentors, that you're reaching out, you know, intern with, you know, for a mentor. Try to get help from a mentor. Like we have people that we've supported, Gerard, that also have come to us that didn't have any money, but they brought whatever it took, right? They like showed up. They're willing to run errands. They're willing to do whatever it took, right?
Oh yeah,
and
big time.
Yeah, and so there's ways that you can make, you know, put yourself in a position to be around people and to start making some economy with you and to get the wisdom and the mentorship. But like when I didn't have money, I went and got mentors, and I made sure, even now that I do have some money, I'm still getting mentors. I'm still surrounding myself with people that have a piece of the puzzle that I need to elevate. So one of the things that I was gonna, you know, when you asked me like, what are the tips that we get through, Gerard? It was like, you know, if I leave you here with anything, it's get a mentor. Mentors have changed my life. And there's a lot of good people out there. If you show up and you're willing to help and you come with some great questions and you show that you've taken initiative and that you actually care, you're standing out above all the other people. They're saying, hey, will you help me? Will you help me? And they offer nothing back in return.
Yes.
So if you offer something in return, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to help you and mentor you.
I love it, bro. You've been such a powerful mentor to me. You know, I love you, man. I'm so grateful for you and all the mentors in my life. Guys, this is, you know, how I've gotten to where I am today, right? I mean, it's crazy. Think about this. This is a true story, guys, where I was, when I reached out to Ryan and I read his book, I lost everything. You know, I thought of a creative way to add value to his life by helping promote his book that led to an interview. That interview led to me continuing to show him what I was working on, showing him my idea, which led to him investing in the company. Like that led me to now being in one of his books, that led me to now being with him in LA, working with him. Like, this is a true story. Like, you never know. I have interns that started interning for me for free that are now getting paid salaries, that are growing with me, that are learning from me. I think that's phenomenal advice. Ryan, another question here that I thought was really cool. I loved it. Who was it from? It was from, let's see here. I want to make sure I say her name. Kevin. Kevin says, how do you remain in a high level of vibration?
Your level of vibration is your thinking, but the best thing that you can do, laugh and smile. Like, listen to good music. Like, be very careful about the music that you listen to, because some of it's low vibration. It might sound good, like it's grindy. You know, I used to listen to hip hop and rap all day long. I know what it's like, but you got to upgrade the music.
Still got a little Tupac in you. Come on, B.
I love, some of his songs. Hey Mama is my favorite, right? There's some that I can't listen to right now because, it takes you down a level. You got to just make sure that you're always trying to get information inside of you. Connecting to nature. Dogs. I got a dog, right? Like when you're petting your dog and you're loving your dog, like you're in a great state when you do that. So you want to find things. I have a 10-year-old boy, soon to be 11. Like, I got to be in the best shape that I possibly can be for him, so that I'm demonstrating to him high vibration. So connections to nature, great music, like listen to love songs. Gerard, you've heard me blasting I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. I'm not ashamed, man. That stuff raises my vibration when I listen to it, right? Yes. When I had a bad day, I just listen to that song and, I'm lifted, man. So, just really do that, and then pray. And pray with the state and the feeling of like the energy that you seek to receive, not the energy that you have. Like, if you want to heal, pray that you've already healed. If you want to make money, pray as though you've already made that money and you're so grateful that you've made that money and you're so grateful that you've had that success. Pray with the type of intention and the energy you seek, not the energy you have. You just got to change that energy.
Hell yeah. I love it, bro. I really do. I would add, guys, like, and this is something that you should do every single day, and Ryan's offering it, is really, and again, I'm going to reiterate, but really start to practice meditation. He's got a meditation group he's handling every single day. It keeps my vibe and my frequency high, because what happens is, again, I'm clearing my mind, and I'm like literally just being present to the sound. Sometimes the birds chirping. I'm literally just being with myself, and it's what it's doing is it's reharmonizing myself, right? Because a lot of times I heard our friend Jay Shetty, my friend Jay Shetty was on Leaders Create Leaders. He talks about this. Sometimes what happens is our mind and our body are not aligned. Our mind's anxious and our body's sluggish, or our body's like anxious and ready to go and our mind's sluggish. And what happens is meditating just reharmonizes us, and it gives us this ability to just tap into source, tap into love, tap into God, tap into the universe, right? And then all of a sudden you're more clear, you're more focused, you're more creative, you're more productive, and your vibration's high. And then all of a sudden you start attracting that vibration. That's why, I'm always around such unbelievable positive people, and my, things are always thriving because I attract that in my life, and we all, hear about that, right? So I love it, bro. And I love the pray as if it's already happened.
Yeah.
So Ryan, I want to real quick, one of the things that I want to talk about is altar call, right? So, when I came to LA and I connected with you again, it was a major, and you've had many altar call moments in your life, but you had this unbelievable moment of transformation that was happening. And we were both kind of going through it in our lives. But real quick, what is altar call? And how does somebody leverage an altar call moment in their life especially like in a time like right now with crisis? How can this become an altar call moment that they can leverage in their life to come out on the other side truly thriving, happier, with just more abundance in their life?
Yeah, great question. An altar call moment is a moment of change. Now, some of them are positive, some of them are negative, but it's that moment when you go, wow, like I need to change, or wow, I need to take action in my life, or I just witnessed a miracle. I got a second chance. You prayed for something and it happened, right? That's an altar call moment. And what altar call is, it's a movement to help people create those moments. They're moments of transformation. that ignite change in a person's life. And so we're committed to helping people change. When you came here and you moved in 1 year ago on Easter, you know, I was just coming out of a deep change because I lost my mother. And when that happened, I knew that the reality that I'd been living in was a failed reality. I didn't like that reality. I didn't want anything to do with it. I wanted to have love in my life. I wanted to have a deeper connection with my son. I wanted to do creative works. I wanted to rid myself of the negative thinking, of the negative substances that I was drinking and drugs and the rock star lifestyle that I had lived.
Yeah.
And so I knew that there was a different reality than the one that I'd been sold by mainstream media and by society. And, you know, and I was just like, man, you know, because when you lose a loved one, you know, you realize like you would give anything to have that loved one back. And so nothing really matters. And so when I had my altar call moment, it was, you know, it was a deep personal situation. It was painful. And I was in so much pain that I just said, you know, I'm going to break wide open and I'm going to spend the rest of my life figuring out how to give back and figuring out how to master this thing called change. Because there's no book on how to transform. You know, if you're stuck where you're at, if you're unhappy, if you're not feeling the love that you think you should feel, if you're like looking at other people and like I was saying, they seem happy and why am I not happy? Then it's time for you to have an altar call moment. It's time for you to wake up, an awakening, and commit to a transformation. And that's what it's all about. We have a free daily meditation group. If you go to meditation.altarcall.com, we meet every day and we just take you on that journey of change daily.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. And that's what it's all about. You know, Ryan, one of the things that I've been talking about this week with everybody is purpose, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, guys, for many of you, I don't know how long you've been following me, but I've talked about this a lot. But the truth of the matter is me growing up as a young kid, you know, Latino, Italian, growing up, middle class, like, and I became an entrepreneur. One of the things for me was like, I grew up with this feeling of always feeling like a disappointment. And I've actually, it's the first time I'm ever going to share this. This is actually brand new. I've been doing a lot of shadow work this week. And one of the things that came up for me that I've been actually healing, right? Part of my transformation. And what I love is we talked about this in the beginning of our live stream, which is like, there's always more work that we get to do, guys. Like it's amazing shedding and learning and healing ourselves. Like there's always more work. It's never ending. It's constant growth. Who doesn't want that? And for me this week, what really came for me was like growing up, I always felt like a disappointment. I was a C student. Most of the times I got D's. I wanted to play. I played sports, but I never really got to play first string. I always felt like I was a disappointment to my family. I was a troublemaker. Then I got into drinking young, drugs. Then I started hustling drugs. I'll never forget the day that my dad saw me scaling and came in the room and told me, you know what, you're such a disappointment. And when you get caught, don't call home. And I've told that story so many times, and I never connected the dots that like I've got to my, like throughout my career, early in my career, it was like I had to prove something so much that I can do it because I was afraid of being a disappointment. And I went through healing that. I went through like realizing that I have nothing to prove. And, you know, truthfully, man, it's been a blessing to go through healing these sides of you know, so many different sides of me. You know, Ryan, like what has been something for you that's come up through your transformation, through your work, through altar call, through the modalities that you've been teaching people? What is something for you that, you know, vulnerably has been tough that you had to go through and you learned about yourself? And then, you know, how does someone right now use this time again to do that shadow work, to find that part of themselves that is maybe they don't realize is in the subconscious that is holding them back? And if they work towards being honest with themselves, finding that truth and forgiving that and working through that, that can truly elevate them in all areas of their life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Gerard, thank you for sharing that disappointment, that your understanding of that and that shadow and how that was plaguing you, and that you used fuel sources around it to propel yourself, but then those fuel sources ran out. And so now you found new fuel sources, and that's what it's about. The one that comes to mind with me is a year ago, I lost my father, and I didn't have a close relationship with him. He was very violent. He beat me, beat my mom, he beat my brothers and sisters, was addicted to drugs. And I hadn't seen him since I was 14 years old. And I'm 42 now, and he passed away last year. And, you know, and I believe in forgiveness. So as soon as I heard he passed away, I started doing these forgiveness exercises, like the moment that I got the word. And all of a sudden it popped into me. I said, wow, at one point in time, my mom had told me, you're acting just like your father. And she did that because I probably was. And that was the only way she could control me, was to tell me, like, you're acting just like him. Don't be like him. Now, having lost both my parents, you know, I no longer needed to be afraid that I was acting just like my father. And it dawned on me that I was making a lot of decisions out of the fear that I was going to be just like my father.
Wow.
And I have a son. And so I was like, well, I had to do the inventory and say, you know, I'm never going to abandon my son. I'm never, you know, I love my son more than my father ever loved me or himself. So I'm not just like my father. But I'd realized that I had, you know, some fear that I would one day wind up like my father, and that I'd been making decisions in my life because of that fear. My mom didn't know that that was going to put a curse on me, right? That for my whole life, I would make these decisions that I don't want to be like my father. I want to make enough money. I want to prove myself. You know, I got to beat him in any way possible. You know, I don't want to be like my father. Was this recurring tape. But that's a negative tape, right? For me to be driven every day, not to be negative, like that's not the way we should be driven. We should be driven by the light, by positivity, by our capability, by our uniqueness, by our individualism, right? By our ability to do unlimited amounts of good on the planet. And so I was driven by this negative construct that my mom gave to me that I probably needed at the time, but I carried it with me. I didn't realize, like, I had an awakening when I realized I will never be like my father was to my son. And so I was like, Ryan, you're off the hook with that. Like, there's not a chance you're ever going to, you know, disappear on that boy. There's not a chance you're ever not going to love him, you know, because I didn't receive the love. But yeah, that was something that I realized, wow, there's a lot of thinking, a lot of images, a lot of thoughts that, you know, my whole life had been programmed around me trying not to be like my father. And when I realized, like, I'm not him, right? I'm my mom plus him. So I'm, you know, I'm a combination of him plus my mom. I'm not him. I shouldn't have that fear. Yeah. So that was a liberating fear, but I got there through forgiveness. For those of us who have parental challenges, our parents might have been tough on us, might have beat us like mine, or weren't there, or abandoned us, or, you know, or maybe even gave us too much, maybe spoiled us, right? Like, we all have parental related issues. And the key is you got to forgive those issues, and you got to realize you are a unique individual. You are not your parents. You are better than your parents. That's what evolution is all about.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I love my parents. So, some of us also have, I'm so blessed. I've had amazing, amazing parents. And it's just, I just think it was so powerful, the power of forgiveness. One of the things I wanted to bring back and loop back, and I guess I will say to this, it's amazing how far we can go in life when we use pain, we use, you know, that hurt to drive us forward. Like, I think a lot of great athletes, they're such competitors, and that competitive spirit, that anger that they have, that it does drive them sometimes to even win championships. But what an unbelievable life once you can get so far with that, but once you let go of that, and you realize that you have nothing to prove, and you find who you truly are and the uniqueness that you have and the gifts that you have. And then again, what I want to loop back into is purpose. You realize that you have a unique purpose on this earth. And when you start tapping into your gifts and your purpose, what you thought was success, you go to a whole nother level. And I talk about this in my speech a lot of times about the first mountain, second mountain, and then the third mountain, which I haven't talked about publicly yet, which I will soon. Ryan, what I wanted to loop back to you is, like, how does one truly tap into what their purpose is? There's so many people right now that are at home, so many people that are, like, in my opinion, that just go out and do the thing that they think they should be doing to prove something, to, you know, based on external circumstances or external factors, and they're not doing the thing that they truly feel that their soul is calling them forward to do. They know that that's inside of them, but they haven't taken that leap. How do you find that purpose, and then how do you take steps forward towards it during such times of uncertainty?
For one, your purpose is never about you. It's about what you can do for others, right? We are social beings. We're the only species that can help other species. Like, we're the only, animal on this planet that, like, can help other animals and help each other, and that feels empathy when we see somebody hurting that's outside of our group, right? It's like, if I hear that somebody's hurting somewhere, it hurts me, and I'll donate to them or I'll give to them. And so your purpose is always something that you can do for others. It's never about what you're going to achieve and, and how you're going to be acknowledged and how much money you're going to make. And so you just really have to ask yourself, what can you do for others that is special? What do you love to do for others? How do you like to serve? And if you're a servant-driven leader and you have a servant-driven heart, your purpose is going to appear to you. You're going to find the vehicle for your purpose or the vehicles. But the key thing is to realize that it's not about you. It's about what you can do for others and how you can serve. And when you have a calling like that and you answer that calling, the universe blesses you. You receive total abundance. Like people will come, customers will come, investors will come when you just put yourself in a servant-driven leadership position and you ask yourself, how can I serve? And that's what the world needs right now. So people that are trying to take, they're not going to be very popular. People that are seeking to serve are going to become very popular because there's a lot of needs out there, new needs that need to be filled. And that's entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So what problems can we solve for others? And by solving that problem enough, we solve our own problems by default.
Yeah, I love it, bro. And that's like, I truly believe that's what leadership is. It's service, right? And I talk about that to everybody at Leaders Create Leaders, and that's my mission in life. So I love it, bro. I'm so blessed to serve besides you. I had a question here that I want to have answered. Is altar call for everyone? What if a person is more of a believer in the universal religion rather than traditional prayer? Universe versus Christianity, or all walks welcome?
All walks are welcome. Great question. I don't care how you make a connection. Some call it quantum. Some believe in God, Jesus. Some believe in Buddha. Some believe in Gandhi. Some believe in the Hinduism. Some believe in Catholicism. Like, it doesn't matter. If we all make a connection, however we make that connection, I rely on how I was raised. I know you do as well, Gerard. So it doesn't matter. We just want to make a connection and elevate all of us together with that connection. There's a magic that happens. There is a spiritual force that's out there, a universal force, and there's no coincidences. And so we just want to create that connection and elevate all of us together in our daily prayers.
Hell yeah. I love it, bro. So, all right, guys. So I thank every single one of you for joining on. I know that Instagram only gives us an hour, and I don't want to lose this. Ryan, bro, thank you so much, man. I want to kind of let everybody know, how does someone get involved right now? Like, what is next? I mean, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that we've been doing these transformation days. We had these unbelievable events that if you were lucky, you were able to get to. It was just unbelievable if you're here at Altar Call, but there's a lot more that's happening. So Ryan, maybe you can just talk a little bit about what's the opportunity right now and how does someone get involved with Altar Call?
Yeah, well, we're building a movement. And so there's, hundreds of people that are joining us as we speak. Follow me on IG and DM me if you're interested in learning more about the movement. If you go to meditation.altarcall.com, you can sign up for our free daily meditation and just, peek inside and see what we're up to. We're building a movement. We have a lot of things that we're going to be coming out with here. We're adapting just like everybody else is. But most important is we stand to help people heal and to help people elevate. If the entrepreneur is a whole entrepreneur, they can get all kinds of things done. But when we're broken, it's when we fail to perform. It's when we procrastinate. It's when we fail to actually get the results that we need or attract the people that we need as customers or as team members, right? So my goal is to create a whole entrepreneur so that entrepreneur can solve problems, in a very efficient and a very optimized way. And so we really connect to the mind, we connect to the body, we connect to spirituality. So the entrepreneur feels a calling and a cause and a purpose in the work that they're doing, so the problems that they solve get solved. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to serve. I'm here to teach people what I know and help them elevate.
Oh man, it's such an honor and blessing. I knew we would do something special together. And I just, I never lost faith in that. I didn't know how it would come together because ultimately I knew that it was bigger than us. I knew that it was bigger than business. It was something that we were really called forward for that really did tap into our soul's work. And it's an honor and a privilege to be your brother, to be your partner, to build this movement with you. I thank you for all of your support. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait for all of this, to see how all of this evolves for a lifetime together, and the millions of lives that will get healed and impacted from it. Guys, if you've been following me for a while, this is deeply, deeply important to me. As you know, it's everything to me to support leaders like this and building their movements. And I highly recommend that every single one of you, when you get off this live, go to meditation.altercall.com. Start joining in the meditation and the prayers in the morning. There's some awesome things that are going to be coming out. And I appreciate you all for being on here for another day of our Sunset Lives. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And Ryan, I'll talk to you later, brother.
Love you, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Peace. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. Listen, I'm actually really enjoying doing these lives and bringing on guests. So I want to hear from you guys on more of what you love. Maybe I'll put together a way that you guys can send me some questions ahead of time that you want to have answered, so that way I can curate the live streams. Also, you know, you've seen me interview a ton of unbelievable thought leaders. Who do you want to see on these lives? I would love to know. Just shoot me a DM. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My DM is absolutely, and just making sure that I'm not like overwhelming myself with all the DMs. So if you could shoot me an email and let me know, you know, what you want on these live streams, who you want me to bring through leaders, go through the show on YouTube, look at every single person over the last 5 years. If there's any one of those leaders that you want me to bring on, be more than happy to reach out to them. Shoot me an email, ga@gerardadams.com. You can also just use the email button in my profile. And I love you guys, man. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. You know, continue to look at this as such an amazing opportunity for growth. And just know that I'm here for you. I believe in you. You know, spread love. Peace.